On this episode of Then You Ruined It, Steve takes a risk on a new kind of seafood only to end up with brown liquid in his pants. Meanwhile, Jason makes fun of the closest thing to a father figure that Steve has found in years.
So, there are many activities that I do not enjoy. Two of them are gambling and feeling like I pooped my pants. But I had a very enjoyable evening of both.
All right, I get my popcorn. Well, I have to go pop it first. So let's say I popped popcorn. Now I'm eating and I'm listening. I'm going to mute myself because eating popcorn sounds terrible on mic. But I'm very interested.
I've been working on my hook skills. Do I got you hooked, Jason?
I mean, you got my two favorite things. I'm ready to enjoy.
So wait, are you a gambler or a connoisseur of pooping your own pants?
I enjoy other people gambling. I think I've spoken about the fact that Maverick is one of my favorite movies of all time. And hearing about other people pooping their pants is hilarious. So, mash those together, I'm going to have a good time.
Okay. Well, this is not gambling in the playing cards sense. Like, yes, Maverick is an amazing movie. And, like, poker is actually an interesting spectator sport. I don't know if I'd want to watch it a ton. But every once in a while, there is an interesting series of events that happens. And that can be very cool. This is gambling more in the loot box sense. As I'm sure you know, loot boxes have taken over our world. Everywhere you go, loot box, loot box, loot box. It's gotten so bad that God has installed loot boxes on the beaches.
Okay.
So I've talked about how I enjoy going crabbing. And I've talked about that what I enjoy about going crabbing is I get to paddle my canoe out for a little bit, and then I get to hang out at the beach with my friends for an afternoon, and then I get to go back, and I get to get my wife's favorite food and bring it back to the shore, and I'm a big dang hero. Well, that's not enough for my family anymore. That's not enough for my wife. She wants more. She wanted clams. Now, clams are very different. You have to actively be getting clams the whole time. There's no portion of the clamming day where you're just chilling on the beach with a Coke. You're constantly digging as you're looking for clams. And the way that you do it is you go and you look for what looks like the signs of a clam spitting water out from where it's buried underneath the sand. And then you stick, it's called a clam gun. So imagine a big cylinder with one of those plungers from Dynamite in the Warner Brothers cartoons. Okay, so it's got that on the end. So you stick it in the ground, and then it has a hole on top so the air comes out. And then you cover the hole, and then you lift up with all your legs and abs and back as you pull out the cylinder of sand that probably weighs, I'm going to estimate, 40 to 50 pounds. And then you dump that on the beach, and that's probably 30 to 40. It's heavy, but it's not unreasonable. And you dump the sand on the beach, and then you kick through it, seeing if you've got your cool skin, or in this case, a clam. Okay? You with me so far? You see how this is God following Activision in his monetization strategies?
Not exactly. I also want to point out that you said 30 to 40 pounds, so this must be a sizable cylinder, or it's like solid steel.
Yeah.
I was picturing more handheld that you would use, like get one clam at a time. I was also, the way you described it, picturing a penis pump.
It does look a lot like a Austin Powers Swedish penis enlarger. This thing is my bag. But
baby,
for, I'm going to say for me, not for you, but that's definitely not the case. This thing, like Google clam gun, they are, it's probably 2.5, 3 feet tall and about 5 inches 10-inch diameter, 5-inch radius of this thing. They're big, so it's a lot of sand. But yes, that only gets you one clam. So each time you up this mighty wad of sand, you're at most getting one clam. Now, these clams are huge. They're like, they're razor clams that are like 6-7 inches long. So they're quite big. But they can dig very fast. So you have to be quick. And sometimes it takes 2 or even 3 thrusts, for lack of a better word, to get this clam out. So, also, very important point, you can't do it in the Puget Sound. You got to go out to the beach that actually touches the ocean. So this is a 4-hour drive each way for us to do this. And you can only do it on certain days, and you got to do it at low tide. So we found that there was a low tide on a day where we didn't have anything going on. It was, I think, President's Day? Must have been President's Day, because I had work off. Is that a thing? I don't know. Anyway, it was the day I got off work because it was a Monday and my kids were off school. And so we're like, we're going to drive to the shore and we're going to gamble and we're going to get some clams for my wife. And this is going to be a great experience. Now, I had never done this before. My wife and kids had. They failed miserably, but they learned a lot. And so they were very confident that they could get a lot. The limit would have been 30. If we had got our limit, we could have gotten 30. The last time they went, they got 9 and they did horrible. So they're like, okay, now that we know that we're going to get 30. And I'm like, cool, I'm excited. I'm going to go be self-reliant. I'm going to go be manly. And I'm probably going to get a story about clamming that I can tell Jason on the podcast.
Real quick, I just have to note, this is from now, heretofore will be referred to as the clamble. Continue.
The clamble?
You're gambling for clams. It's a clamble.
Oh, Oh, that's good. I like that. We went cambling.
Clambling. It's hard to say.
Clambling. Yeah. Okay. You got to say it a few times. But if I had saw that written down, that's a written down joke. But I like that you made it. It'll look good on the subtitles of this episode. So we get out there. It's me, my wife, and my daughter. My son had other things. And the time that low tide was as the sun was setting. So it was dark. And this is out in the middle of the beach where we're away from town. So it is dark. And it's a cloudy day. So there's no moon. There's no stars. And the wind is picking up. And it's cold, wet. It's raining a little bit. A lot of spray coming off the ocean. It's cold, wet, and miserable. And we can't see the sand very good. So we are looking really hard. And we're trying. And we're sticking in our clam gun. And we're humping the earth with it. And yet we're not... Our clambling is not paying off. And it was just really getting kind of frustrating. My daughter was cold and wet. She wanted to go back to the car. My wife was just like, I don't get it. I don't know why this is so hard. We did so much better last time. And I'm like, well, last time the sun was up. You could see, and there wasn't like this film of water. And people would come by and would ask them, like, how are you doing? They're like, it's not a great day, but we're about halfway through our catch. And I'm like, okay, so you're doing pretty well. We've got none at this point. And this old man walks up to us, and he doesn't have a clam gun. He's just got a little shovel, and he's just walking back all happy. He's like, how you folks doing? And I'm like, we're not doing good. He's like, yeah, it's a tough day. I got my limit usually in 15 minutes, but today it took me a half hour. And I'm like, senpai, teach me. I need to know what we're doing wrong, or my wife will leave me. And so he takes me out and he shows me, like, he's stomping the ground so the water pushes out from where he's at so he can see it better. And he sees one. He's like, here, I'll get that for you. He puts his clams down, digs it up, and just like that. And like, this is an old pro. And he hands me this clam. I'm like, that's amazing. And then he picked up his clam. He's like, well, now you know what you're doing. I'll see you later. And as soon as he says that, he turns to leave. A wave comes over and just blasts us. And it comes up to, like, our nipples. Our nipples are about the same height off the ground. That's important to the story. So you can visualize this person and his nipples.
Thank you. I can see that now.
So
wait. I see his old nipples go.
Okay, yeah. We're fully dressed in like 7 layers of clothing, which are now sopping wet because the water has, give us a little purple nurple. But he heads off and he's gone. And so I keep going. And I'm like, okay, so we've got 1 clam now. There. That's what he was saying about. That's what he's talking about. So I'm going to get it. So I thrust in deep. And I pulled up as hard as I could. And as I did, I both farted and dislodged a bunch of sandy water that was stuck in the back of my shirt down my butt crack. So I was convinced that I pooped all over my pants. But I got a big old clam, and it was awesome. So, even better, I got back to the car, and my wife's like, well, how'd you do? He's like, well, I got good news and bad news. I got 3 clams. Bad news, I may have pooped my pants. Like a lot. She's like, well, please check before you sit down in our car. And I gave myself a twice over. I'm like, oh, hey, it's just sand in my crack. This is awesome.
The old man further down the beach, he yells something back to you. It's like, what's he saying? I don't know. We'll find out another time. Maybe we'll see him. He's actually screaming, by the way, if you catch as many clams as I have, you're going to poop your pants. Like a lot. Keep that in mind. Good luck. I don't have a single clean pair of underwear. Haven't since the 50s. Look at all these clams. The downside, the bad of the clamble, but that is perfect timing. I have never farted and gotten something in my pants that was not poop that made me think it was poop. I definitely farted and thought it was, a shart and be like, oh, I gotta go check that, and go check, and it's like, oh, there's nothing there. It was a phantom shart. That's wonderful. But having that happen with a big mound of sand, yeah, that would be like, oh dear.
It's like if you farted and sat in guacamole at the exact same time.
Ooh, yeah, it's just not good. But so when the old man got the clam, he got it with his hands. Like, did he even use a shovel, or did he just get in there and get it?
He had a shovel. He had a little shovel. So clearly, the better way, the old ways are the best ways, and you just got to be really good with a shovel. You just got to be out there. I mean, he lives like we became very good friends. He was my Mr. Miyagi. He lived like a half hour from the beach, so he was out there every time there was a clam tide, and yeah, he'd been doing it. Washington native, been doing it for 40 years. So literally, an old hand at this. He probably ate predominantly clams.
I'm more clam than human man now.
I can speak to them. I hear them calling to all their brethren in my belly.
I got webbed feet. I don't know what it means, but I'm excited. It couldn't be a better, like, John Henry versus the Machine situation of you with your, like, Clambulator 5000. You're like, well, yeah, I shoved this down in there. And then he's like, well, that's where you're going wrong. No. Use your hands and this little shovel. I got this butte back at Ace Hardware in 64. Hasn't done me wrong yet. Watch this. He just literally Miyagi's it. He catches the fly with the chopsticks. He just goes in there and gets one. He's like, all right, here's the clam. I gotta go. I'm late for dinner. Guess what we're having? Clams! And you're just standing there with your one clam. Just like, I think I pooped my pants.
But I have a new hero, so...
Yeah. But it couldn't be a better story of, like... This man just came along and taught you everything he knows, and it's like, please teach me. And it's like, oh, I will another time. Gotta go. You're just staying there so dumbfounded you think you pooped your pants. It's perfect. It's movie magic.
I literally screamed at the beach like, "Take that! I got one! If you think making me poop my pants will keep me from clambling, you clearly don't know me."
No, you don't know me. When was the last time I let pooping my pants stop me from a victory one would best call marginal?
To obtain something that I could have got for $2 at the grocery store.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going to drive 4 hours and poop my pants for it.
I will say, I've never actually had, like, regular clams. I've had fried clams, and I've had them at, like, Long John Silver's and other seafood establishments. But I remember we went to Myrtle Beach, and I can't remember what the place was we went to, but we got seafood, and none of the fresh seafood really interested me. But I saw there was like like fried clams was like a meal basically, and I ordered it, and I mean it was like a pound of fried clams. It was crap loads, and I remember taking it back to our hotel room and eating it for like 3 days. Guess what I'm having for a snack, everybody? Clams. Yep, you're damn right. Heat them up in this oven, and they taste just the same. But I was definitely tired.
That can't be true.
I was definitely tired of fried clams by then. But yeah. So I've had that aspect of it, but not like fresh or anything like that. So I can't speak to that. But yeah, that just sounds like an awesome journey. I'm glad that man was there to cap it off and to really.
Oh yeah, it would have been a waste of a day off and a half a tank of gas if we hadn't met that man. But that man, it was the cast your net on the other side moment for all of us, and I met my clam savior. So you've had a little bit of clam. Like, I'll be honest, like, fresh clams are better. Like, I've had fried clams, and the fried clams here and fried fish here is better than what I would have back in Utah, obviously, because it's not a landlocked state. Everything's fresher, everything's better. But like, getting it fresh yourself, and same with the crabs. And my wife likes to just eat it plain. I like to make, like, a nice clam spaghetti or a clam chowder, and all that's fantastic. What's not so fantastic? Have you ever heard of a gooey duck?
I yes. I've seen one. Well, I've seen pictures, and yes.
It's the world's most phallic animal.
Yes.
So you can also go digging for gooey ducks. We haven't done that yet. But my wife's coworker gave her one the other day. And my wife's looking up, okay, how do I cook a gooey duck? Because they're a delicacy in China. But she's never had one. She's like, so what do I do with this? And she's looking at all these different things. She's like, oh, apparently you're supposed to just eat it raw. Okay. So she cut it up and she's like, here, come eat this massive penis raw with me. And I'm like, I don't think I want to. I don't want to be in the room while you're cutting up the sashimi. Also, you won't eat sushi. Why are you eating this thing raw? It had what I can only imagine is the texture of wang. Because, like, clams are kind of like nature's chewing gum, but they have, like, some resistance. There's, like, a bit of a... I don't know what it is. But there is a pliability to a gooey duck that is unsettling, and a rigidness along whatever the external side. That it is just... It hits way too close to home.
I would only describe this gooey duck as turgid. Possibly too... what's the word I want? It's hard. It's hard on your teeth. You know? It's hard on it. It is. I'm not ashamed of that. Rather proud of it, actually.
See, this is why I bring these stories to you, because you find the little nuggets that I would miss. Thank you, Jason. I think we've both enriched each other to this day.
I don't know how, but I feel like it too.